Imagine a man who owns the world. He is the most powerful human being alive. He has no boss. He has no laws that can bind him. He has unlimited wealth, unlimited armies, and unlimited access to every pleasure known to man. He can have anyone killed. He can take anything he wants. No one would stop him. In fact, everyone expects him to. History tells us that men in this position almost always become monsters. They are corrupted by the absolute power they wield. They fall into madness, cruelty, and hedonism. But this man was different. For 19 years, he held the world in his palm, and yet he never closed his fist. Instead of a tyrant, he became a philosopher. Instead of a monster, he became a good man. His name was Marcus Aurelius. And his life is the ultimate proof that you are not a victim of your circumstances, you are the master of your choices. Part 1. The Emperor's Choice. Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome from 161 to 180 AD. He was the last of the 5 good emperors. When he died, the Pax Romana, the Roman peace, died with him. But what makes him fascinating is not his title. It is his restraint. To be a Roman emperor was to be a god on earth. Hedonism was not just allowed, it was expected. Previous emperors had turned the palace into a slaughterhouse or a brothel. Marcus could have done the same. He could have indulged in every vice, every fantasy, every dark impulse. He had the means and the opportunity, but he didn't. Day after day, for nearly 2 decades, he woke up and chose virtue. He chose duty over pleasure. He chose kindness over cruelty. He chose to be good, not for applause, because he often received none, but simply because it was the right thing to do. This is the first lesson Marcus teaches us. Character is not determined by what you don't have the power to do. It is determined by what you choose not to do when you have the power to do anything. Could you do that? If you had 0 consequences for your actions, would you still be a good person? Marcus was. And we know this because he wrote a book that proves it, a book that was never meant to be read. Part 2. The Diary of a Soul. We call it Meditations, but that title was added later by publishers. Marcus just called it to himself. It was his private journal. It was the diary of the most powerful man in the world, written in the quiet moments between wars and plagues. It has no chapters, no structure, no audience. It is just a man wrestling with his own soul. In these pages, we see the raw humanity of a Stoic. He wasn't a marble statue. He struggled. He had a temper. He got tired. He got annoyed with people. He felt the weight of his position. But in every entry, we see him coaching himself back to sanity. We see him reminding himself of the principles that kept him grounded. Meditations is not a book of philosophy lectures. It is a book of spiritual exercises. It is a manual for how to be a human being in a world that is constantly trying to dehumanize you. Part 3. The Natural Order. Fulfilling your potential. One of the core themes in Marcus's writing is the idea of living in accordance with nature. Now, he didn't mean running into the woods and living like a wolf. He meant living in accordance with human nature. He looked at the world and saw purpose. A tree grows to be a tree. A bee makes honey. A horse runs. They do these things not for money, not for fame, but because it is what they were designed to do. So, what is a human designed to do? Marcus believed we were designed for 2 things: reason and cooperation. We are social animals with a capacity for logic. Therefore, our duty, our highest calling, is to work together and to act virtuously. He wrote to himself, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for?" For Marcus, the greatest failure in life wasn't losing a war or losing money. The greatest failure was abdicating your responsibility to be a good human. It was failing to live up to your potential. You cannot control the world, but you can control your character. And to let your character rot is the only true tragedy. Part 4. The problem of other people. But being good is hard, especially when other people are difficult. Marcus didn't live in a bubble. He dealt with politicians, sycophants, traitors, and enemies every day. He knew that the world was full of liars, thieves, and narcissists. But his approach to them was radical. He didn't ask the world to be free of bad people. He said that would be like asking a fig tree not to produce juice in its figs. It's impossible. Bad people exist. Instead, he looked inward. When he encountered someone rude or ungrateful, he didn't get angry. He asked himself, "Do I have these faults too?" He used their bad behavior as a mirror to check his own soul. He reminded himself that people do wrong out of ignorance. They think they are doing what is best for them. They are misguided, not monsters. And even if they are monsters, Marcus believed that we are all part of the same organism. To obstruct each other is unnatural, he wrote. To feel anger at someone, to turn your back on him, these are obstructions. His job wasn't to fix them. His job was not to be corrupted by them. The best revenge, he said, is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Part 5. The shadow of death. Finally, we cannot talk about Marcus Aurelius without talking about his constant companion, death. He didn't fear it. He studied it. He kept it in his pocket like a coin. He reminded himself constantly that he was dying, that the people he loved were dying, that the people who hated him were dying. You could leave life right now, he wrote. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This wasn't morbid. It was clarifying. When you realize that your time is finite, you stop wasting it on petty nonsense. You stop caring about fame because the people who remember you will also die. You stop caring about wealth because you can't take it with you. Death strips away the non-essential. It leaves only what matters: virtue, duty, kindness, the present moment. Marcus didn't see death as a tragedy. He saw it as a natural process, like a flower wilting or an olive falling from the tree. Nature demands it, and what nature demands is good. Part 6. Happiness versus pleasure. The world told Marcus, and it tells us today, that the goal of life is pleasure, comfort, status. But Marcus knew the difference between pleasure and happiness. Pleasure is external. It comes from wine, from praise, from power. It is fleeting. It is dependent on things outside of you. Happiness, or eudaimonia, as the Greeks called it, is internal. It is a state of being. It comes from knowing that you are living in alignment with your values. It comes from the quiet confidence that you are doing your job as a human being. Marcus Aurelius didn't have an easy life. He lost children. He was betrayed by friends. He spent years in cold tents on the frontier of the empire, fighting wars he didn't start. He was sick and in pain for much of his life. By modern standards, he should have been miserable, but he wasn't. He was possessed of a deep, unshakable peace, because he knew that no one could take away his ability to be good. No one could force him to violate his own conscience. We often think we need more to be happy: more money, more freedom, more time. But Marcus Aurelius had all of that, and he realized it wasn't the answer. The answer was in the work. The answer was in the discipline. The answer was in the daily choice to be a good man in a bad world. You don't need to be an emperor to practice this. You just need to be a human being. Your potential is waiting. Your duty is calling. Don't let yourself down. If this message resonated with you, if you want to walk the path of the Stoic, like this video and subscribe. Let us build a community of those who choose virtue over ease. Stay strong. Stay grounded. See you next time.